All right, so you've been digging into AI
Yeah.
and how it's changing the energy landscape. And
Sure.
today,
Uh,
we're going to zero in on one company, Utilidata,
okay.
and how they're using AI to make the electric grid,
Right.
something we all rely on.
Yeah.
Way smarter.
It's fascinating. For that we just flip a switch and boom, the power's there.
Right.
But behind that simple action is this incredibly complex system, the grid.
Right.
And Utilidata is really right in the thick of it, making it more efficient and reliable.
Okay, so let's start with basics I kept seeing.
Sure.
This term edge devices
Okay.
pop up in my research.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta admit, I wasn't totally clear
Yeah.
on what they are.
Okay.
It seems like they're crucial to what Utilidata does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think of edge devices as kind of like the sensors and data collectors scattered throughout the grid.
Okay.
Things like smart meters
Right.
on houses,
Uh-huh.
EV chargers,
Yep.
for electric cars even, solar panels on rooftops.
Huh.
They're all feeding information
Yeah.
back into the system.
So it's not just about power flowing one way anymore.
No.
It's a two-way street
Right.
with information constantly being exchanged.
Exactly. And that's part of what creates huge challenges for managing the grid.
Right.
It's way more dynamic and complex than it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's where Utilidata's AI comes in.
Okay.
They have this platform called Karman
Mm-hmm.
that analyzes data from millions of these edge devices.
So instead of just having like a bunch of data points, Karman actually makes sense of it all.
Right.
What's fascinating is it's not just sitting in some central location
Yeah.
crunching numbers, right?
Uh-huh.
It's actually distributed, meaning it's working both on the edge devices themselves
Right.
and in the cloud.
You got it.
Wow.
That's what makes it so powerful
Yeah.
for real-time decision-making.
Right.
Think about it.
Huh.
A sudden change in weather.
Yeah.
A surge in demand as everybody gets home from work, plugs in their EVs.
Yep.
The grid needs to adapt instantly.
Right.
Having AI at the edge allows for that rapid response.
Okay, so we've got all these edge devices
Right.
feeding information into Karman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's using that information to help manage the grid
Right.
in real time.
Correct.
What kind of problems does this actually solve? I mean,
Yeah.
besides keeping the lights on,
Sure.
when a storm hits,
Yeah.
what are the tangible benefits?
Well, one major area is grid resilience.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, let's say there's a hurricane approaching a coastal city.
Right.
In the past, utilities would pretty much just be reacting to outages as they happened.
Okay.
With Karman, they can actually get ahead of it.
So instead of playing like whack-a-mole with downed power lines,
Mm-hmm.
they can actually anticipate where problems
Yeah,
are likely to occur.
exactly. The AI can analyze weather data, historical outage patterns, even real-time conditions on the grid
Okay.
to predict potential failure points.
Uh-huh.
That allows crews to be dispatched proactively,
Right.
and potentially prevent outages altogether,
Wow.
or at least minimize their impact.
That's a game changer, especially for people who rely on electricity for
Right.
medical equipment
Uh-huh.
or have businesses that can't afford downtime.
Yeah.
So we've got storm preparedness.
Right.
What else?
What about all those electric vehicles hitting the road?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I imagine that's putting a huge strain on the grid, too.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get more intense
Right.
as EV adoption continues to rise.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine like a hot summer day.
Okay.
Everyone gets home from work, plugs in their car to charge.
Right.
That simultaneous spike in demand
Yeah.
could overload the system.
Oh, wow.
Utilidata's AI helps manage that
Okay.
by optimizing charging patterns. So it's like a traffic controller for electricity,
Right.
making sure everything flows smoothly,
Uh-huh.
even during peak hours.
Yeah.
Does it tell people when to charge their car?
Not necessarily tell them,
Okay.
but it can definitely nudge them in the right direction. Utilities can use Karman's insights
Okay.
to implement what are called demand response programs.
Right.
These programs offer incentives like lower rates
Okay.
for charging during off-peak hours
Okay.
when the grid is less stressed.
So that's how it helps with electric vehicles.
Yeah.
What about integrating solar power?
Sure.
I know a lot of people are installing solar panels on their roofs these days,
Mm-hmm.
but I imagine that can also create challenges for the grid too.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Solar power is fantastic for sustainability,
Uh-huh.
but it can also be unpredictable.
Okay.
A cloud passes over,
Yeah.
suddenly the output drops significantly,
Right.
which can lead to instability on the
Yeah.
grid.
So too much solar can actually be a bad thing.
It can be.
That seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, it can be if it's not managed properly.
Okay.
But with Utilidata's AI,
Yeah.
utilities can get real-time insights into how much solar power the grid can handle
Okay.
at any given moment.
Right.
They call this dynamic hosting capacity analysis.
Wow. Okay, so instead of just blindly adding more and more solar to the mix,
Right.
they can ensure it's integrated smoothly
Exactly.
and doesn't disrupt the flow of electricity.
That's right.
This all sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But given all this real-time processing happening, I'm curious about the hardware.
Okay.
What are they using to actually run this AI?
That's where NVIDIA comes in.
Okay.
Utilidata has partnered with them to develop a custom module for their edge devices.
Okay.
It's based on NVIDIA's Jetson platform,
All right.
which is known for its high-performance computing capabilities.
So it's basically packing a ton of processing power
All right.
into a tiny package,
Yeah.
allowing the AI to run right there on the edge device itself.
Exactly. And that's crucial for achieving those real-time insights and responses we've been talking about. Plus, the Jetson platform is designed to be energy efficient, which is important when you're deploying this technology at scale.
This is all incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how AI is transforming this vital piece of infrastructure
Right.
we often take for granted.
It really is a game changer.
Right.
And we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Yeah.
As AI technology continues to evolve,
Right.
I think we'll see even more innovative applications emerge, leading to a truly intelligent and interconnected energy ecosystem.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork here.
Yeah.
We've talked about edge devices.
Right.
We've talked about Karman. We've talked about NVIDIA.
Yep.
But now I want to dive into some specifics.
Yeah.
Let's get into some real-world examples.
Yeah.
Of how this technology is actually making a difference.
Right.
So
and it's not just about making the grid more efficient. It's about making it more resilient and sustainable, Yeah. We're talking about a future where the lights stay on even when a hurricane hits.
Right.
Where our electric cars actually help stabilize the grid and where we're maximizing the use of clean, renewable energy.
Okay. I'm starting to get a glimpse of this future you're painting.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. But let's zoom out a bit. What are some of the bigger picture implications of all this?
Okay.
I mean, if we have AI managing the grid, what does that mean for the average person?
Right.
Will we even have to think about electricity anymore?
Well, I wouldn't say we'll completely forget about electricity, but it's definitely going to become more seamless and invisible in our daily lives.
Okay.
Think about how we interact with the internet now.
Yeah.
We don't really think about the complex infrastructure behind it.
Right.
We just expect it to work.
Yeah.
I think the electric grid is heading in that direction.
So instead of worrying about like brownouts or peak demand charges, our homes will just intelligently manage our energy usage in the background.
Exactly.
Wow.
Your smart thermostat will automatically adjust the temperature based on real-time energy prices and grid conditions.
Okay.
Your EV will charge when it's most efficient and cost-effective.
Right.
And your solar panels will seamlessly feed excess energy back into the grid, potentially even earning you credits.
It sounds like a future where we're all active participants in a more sustainable energy system without even really having to think about it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty compelling vision.
Yeah.
But, of course, with any new technology, there are concerns.
Sure.
Security, for example, is a big one. If we're relying so heavily on AI to manage this critical infrastructure, what's to stop hackers from causing chaos?
You're right. Cybersecurity is paramount, and companies like Utilidata are keenly aware of that.
Okay.
They're building robust security measures into their platforms from the ground up. We're talking about multi-layered defenses from encrypting data to implementing strict authentication protocols and constant monitoring for threats.
So it's not just about building a smarter grid. It's about building a secure one as well.
Absolutely. Security and reliability go hand in hand.
Yeah.
A smart grid is only as good as it is secure.
Okay. That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the future.
Sure.
What's next for Utilidata and for AI in the energy sector?
Yeah.
Where do you see this all going?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Okay.
As AI models become even more sophisticated, they'll be able to not only analyze data, but also predict future events with greater accuracy.
Right.
Imagine a system that can anticipate a surge in demand based on weather forecasts, upcoming events, and even individual consumer behavior patterns.
So instead of just reacting to changes, the grid could actually anticipate and prepare for them.
Exactly. And that level of predictive capability opens up a whole new world of possibilities. We could optimize energy usage even further, reduce costs, and minimize the environmental impact of our electricity consumption.
Wow, that's a pretty exciting prospect.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're moving towards a future where the electric grid is no longer just a passive delivery system, but an active and intelligent participant in creating a more sustainable energy future.
Precisely. And AI is going to be the key enabler of that transformation by harnessing the power of artificial intelligence. We can create a grid that's not only smarter and more efficient, but also more resilient, sustainable, and ultimately more beneficial for everyone.
That's a fantastic note to end on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you've learned something new and are feeling as inspired as I am.
Yeah.
About the potential for a brighter, more sustainable energy future.
Absolutely.
And as always, we want to leave you with something to ponder.
Okay.
As we electrify more and more aspects of our lives, from transportation to heating and cooling our homes, how will AI help us create a grid that's not only intelligent, but also equitable, ensuring access to affordable and reliable energy for everyone?
That's a great question.
Food for thought as you go about your day.
Indeed. It's a question worth considering as we navigate this energy transition.
And that's all for today's deep dive. Be sure to tune in tomorrow evening for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, keep those minds curious.